I want to look at the use of the function in JavaScript today. And when we talk about the function is another part of the work of the important concept in JavaScript programming. And reason why is that function are the code that need to be reused. Function are used to write the code that need to be reused. When we say code that need to be reused, it mean that if you are writing a JavaScript code, instead of keep repeating a particular code when you need it again, you can use that code as function. Like for example now, if you look at this code we did the last time, this multiplication table code there now, do you get it now? This is the code for the multiplication table. If I run this code, the one I highlighted like this, do you get it now? It will run. But what if I need this particular code again? This multiplication table, I want to put inside this particular do while. Do I need to copy this code like this again and put it inside the do while function like this? No, it's not good like this. It means that this particular code is being repeated. So repeating the code like this is not good in programming. And that's why I would say instead of repeating this code, you can design this code as as a function. Do you get it now? Once you declare it as function, you give the code a name. Like the one we did there now, this is a name now, this is a function name. So what I just need to do now is I can now use this function. I can call this name of this function here by say get for like this, get for like again, get for. You can see that means I call this particular function as many times as possible. That means I can reuse it as many times as possible. And that's why they say that anytime we are designing a code in JavaScript, it is very important for us to be able to write that code by using a function. Another important function that they can use to optimize the performance of the code. That is make the code run more faster. Do you get it now? And when we are talking about this particular function refer to as a self-contained block of statement that have a name. Just like most of the one we have been written before, they are all function. All this one you see here, they are function. Because if you see this code that start from for loop to here, we give this code a name. We call it get for by using function. The second code there again, we start from this area I highlighted there. We also give it a name. We call it get do while. Are you getting it now? So this means that all these particular are the different name we can give to a function. That's why I say that a function is a self-contained code that can give a name. Because when you define a function, you give a function a name. It is that name that make it easy for anybody to be able to use that function or call the function. Now, there are different type of function, or let me say there are two category of function. We have a function which we call built-in function. We also have what we call a user-defined function. And when we are talking about the built-in function, the built-in function are the function that is already that's already written inside the JavaScript. That means this function are the code that they already written, but we can use it to perform any task. And for any good developer, the good developer should be able to take advantage of most of this particular function. Apart from that again, there's what we also call a user-defined function. User-defined function is the function that we write by ourselves to perform a specific task. You get it now? That is it. But built-in function is already available. So you can take advantage of this particular built-in function to perform different type of task. Now, these are some of the already of built-in function. These function are just ready to use because they already been coded. And some of the example of that built-in function in JavaScript is none, the pass int, evaluate, prompt, confirm, and password float. Some of these functions now we have used them like pass int that this is a passing we use to convert a string into the integer number, And the also word similar to is a password float. Passfloat is also used to convert what the any string into the floating what number. Is noun is a function that what that check whether a number is integer or not what integer. And we also have what evaluate what function. We have a prompt and we have a confirm. All these are the different type of example of what we call what built-in what function. The next one is what is a user-defined what function. And these are the functions that what that are going to be defined according to the what the user what the need of the user. So function can be that means you yourself can write your own function apart from using the one that what the computer is already what have. Now let's look at how to use one or two function another function because we already see the use of the parse int function in some of our previous work code. Like for example now, let me bring the code we use for work for exam result here. In this code for exam result, you can see where we use parse int here now to convert the value of the word of the English score into the integer. And the same thing for the maths and the int like this. But for this other one which you call what is the pass flow too. Evaluate is another word function, but we'll come across some of those one too later. But let's now look at the word user defined function. When you are creating user defined function, you have to start what because this is a function that user is going to define. You have to start with a function keyword followed by the name you want to give to what to the function. That is the first way of using a user-defined word function. You start by the function keyword followed by what by the name and you must give it what a parenthesis. Something like this is what they are expecting us to do if you want to create a word a user-defined word function. You see function keyword like this. What name do you want to give to your function? I call the word get what maybe I say get greeting. Do you get it now? And parent this is open and close here now. This open and close. Do you get it now? That's parent this. So inside this particular word, parent this here now, we can have what we call what a variable. We can have what we call parameters. A list of parameters can be there. And don't forget, this type of function must be what must be defined in the head section of a web page. Please just a minute. It's like saying my okay. So as I was saying now, this function must be defined in the head section of your web page and function can have a parameter if there's a need for it. Okay, so and also the body of the word or the function which is the word function word statement. So just like here now, I can declare a function like this by now coming down here, but in this case again, I can have what this is going to be what the statement or task to performed. What is the task and what the function to perform will be here. This is the first word syntax. Do you get it now? I call this one uh okay syntax 1 for the function. Now another example for the function is going to be something like this. I call this syntax 2. Your function can have a parameter like a var parameter. I say para 1 or var para 2 or var para n, as many parameters as possible. Okay, let me just say like this. Parameter 1 and parameter 2 and parameter 3. So this is it. You can have function defined in this form again. What is the start to perform? Another way we can still use a create a function in JavaScript is this. That's syntax 3 here. So this is syntax 3, this is syntax 2, and function start to perform here and return statement. That is it. So these are the three different ways function can be used. Do you get it now? It depends on what task you want to perform. But this particular function, we have been using the function all this while. But this is syntax one we have been using for most of the function we are using in our previous programming. You can see the example in this loop now. Like this word, get y here is a function. Can you see now? Get do y here is a function, but does not accept what a parameter. Do you get it now? And does not return any value. Do you get it now? Because when you're talking about the function that is returning the value, it means that what? The result of this function, instead of displaying it, system can do what? Oh, system can what? Can send it to another what? Variable. That's when we say function with return what? Return value. We'll see the example now. Now, let me now create a function by using the second word syntax here now to implement the concept we are trying to work to see here. So I'm closing save. Okay, now so I'm saving this particular word, this program HTML as well as a function now. I'll call it function. So function now. So on this particular function here now, so using function, I call it user define function. Okay, so here now I'm changing the title here to using what or user define function. Okay, that is function here now, but the upper one here I'm going to turn it to what? Using function. This one is going to be using function. Okay, to be using function. Okay, so now let me save this page and preview it first. Okay, good. So what task can I perform with this function now? Okay, good. So I want us to create a function that I'm going to compute the area of rectangle. That's what I want us to do here now. So I'll bring in some of the So I'll bring in some of our the input we have using before. That means accepting the value, okay, and computing the area. So here now, this is going to be what? Input type text. Input type what? Text. And the name will be equal to what? Length. Okay, I call it length. While the ID here will be equal to what? To breadth. Okay, so that is it here now. Okay, so that is for this. And the placeholder, so placeholder is going to be what? Enter value, okay, that is it. So I'm going to also create the second one that I'm going to be for the what? The breadth too. Oh, this is going to be length. Okay, LE for length and BR for breadth. This is going to be LE again for length. This is going to be what? The breadth now. BR and BR2. Okay, enter value 2. So then we're having a button now. Button go to be what? Calculate. Calculate now. Okay. And this is going to be what? Get what? Get a rectangle. Get rectangle area. Okay. That's good. And I want the result to appear down here now. I want result to appear down here. So I'm removing these two. So this is where the result is going to appear now. So text is going to be what? Area. And here now will also be what? Area. And this is going to be what? I say what? Area of rectangle value. Okay. And also I will now make it to be read only. Read only. Okay. Read only. Okay, good. And this is close. All this must be close too. So why are we not closing them? Okay, they are empty tags. So let me save this page and see how it look like now. Very good. So why this while loop is there? Button. Okay, this row must be removed. Okay. Okay, so let me preview. That's good now. So we want to see how to use a user-defined function to compute the area of the rectangle now. That's what I want us to implement it. So let me check the title here to use user-defined function for area of rectangle. Okay, that's all. Good. So now to now create the function now, we'll now write our JavaScript code. Our JavaScript file, I'm going to name it function.js. That's where we start from. Function.js. So I will now create a JavaScript file, function.js now, inside the script folder here. New, that will be what? Function.js. That is it. So now, the first thing I'm going to do here now is I will define function. This okay, define function. Define function with parameters. That's what we want to do here now. So here now we'll now use a keyword as we already have from the syntax here. You get now, this is syntax 2. So I copy this, I will now return to what? To here, I paste it here now. So the name I'm giving to my function now, I will call it what? Area. You can see now. So since the area of the wall of the rectangle is going to be length times breadth, do you get it now? I will now define the two parameters for it. Two parameters. I'll call it what? L for length and B for what? For the breadth. I can use any name. I can write it in full. Do you get it now? That is it. So after that again, right here again, I will now write the formula now by saying that float. Sorry, I will now say var area equal L multiplied by what? By B here. That's how simple the formula is. The next thing now is it. I want the formula to display the result. I can now say document, or I want to assign the result to another variable. Say document dot get element by what? ID. document.getElement by ID now. ID I want to solve result with area, but remember it must be in quote, single quote, and closing the single quote. Now say dot what, dot value here. They get it now. Dot value equal area here now, because the result we compute is area here. So let me not, I don't need to use by here. The result I compute is area here now. Do you get now? So now I'm now assigning that area inside there now. Do you get it? Or even though I can say by what? By area. That's it now. So it means that when I call this function, do you get now? This is where I define a function. Anytime you define a function in JavaScript, for this function to get the result, do you get now? You must call it. But remember that in my HTML page here now, the button which I want to use to call the function, the button is called getRectangle. Do you get it now? It means I will now create this function called getRectangle again. In the getRectangle function, I will now call the new function I define here, because I cannot use this button to execute this function, to execute the what? The getArea function. So what I do now is this. For me to use my getArea function, I will create another function for getRectangle here now. That's when she say what? Using what function. Using what function, or using what user defined function. That is what you want to do now. Using user defined function here now. That is it. So I will now pay this. I say what function what? GetRectangle here now. That is it. So inside the function get what? Rectangle. Do you get it now? Remember that what? Okay. Even this is not here. Okay. Inside the function getRectangle here, the value I pass from HTML here for BR and for length and the what? Enter value for length, enter value for what? For breadth. Let me make it full like this. TH. So the value I enter for length and breadth here, I will accept it inside the what? Inside the function for getRectangle. So here now I can say what? var maybe num1 equal to here now get what? LE, that value for length, and again semicolon. Okay, so that's going to be oh god. Okay, so I want to copy and paste it to the next line. Good. So this will be now be what? Num2. Do you get it now? That is second value. I just create it. Then go to B what? BR. BR now. B is it R? BR? Yes. BR. So now this BR and this, for me now to be able to compute, instead of writing the formula here, there's a function here that holds the formula. The function is called what? Area. So I will now call that function here now. This is a call function. This is I'm putting comment here. I'll now say function area. Okay, I'll now say area. Okay, equal area equal. Since I'm calling this area function here, and this area function have parameter L and B, I will now use num1 to pass value to A and num2 to pass value to B. So this one here means that once I enter the two value, the first value here, which is num1, system store it in this L. The second value, which is num2, is stored it in this B. And system will now say B times L is stored in the area here. Can you see now? That is all. Once stored in the area, that means that this particular function is already compute the result. But to see the result, I'll use a return. Say return area here now. That's all. So which means that We don't need to display the result inside the function because it's not good. Anytime you are creating a user defined function now, you don't print inside it. Do you get it now? So it is a function that is using the user defined function that it is inside it you are going to what? To display the result. Like here now, since this is returning using here, I will now have another variable that go to hold this result by saying var what? Var answer now equal to area here. Can you see? It means moment this area compute the what? The result of moment we compute the area of rectangle here, whatever the result will be stored in this what? Answer. And once that is stored in the answer, then I can now send that result back into the what? The HTML page by saying what? Answer again. Do you get it now? So that is how this function. What we see here now as well, this is a function we define here, area. Do you get now? And I call that word area word here now. And this area is what you call a user defined function. And it's the same time user defined function is a function with what? With parameter and function that also return the word, the result. So let me save this page here now and see what system is going to give to us if I refresh this page. I say 2, 3 is the first, is the length, while 6 is the what? Is the breadth. Calculate. You see, that's 18. Do you get it now? One thing is it, most of the function in JavaScript, do you get it now? They are all inbuilt function, but the function, the built-in function we are talking about, they are all written in this particular form. Because anytime you are going to write a function for people to use, you need to first define that function here. And I say function can be reused for more than once. So you can use function for more than once again. Do you know I can still come down here again and still use this function with another value. As I'm using the function here, I can call this function here again. Instead of passing the value, instead of accepting the value which I already enter, I can define the built-in value. I say 5 here and 7 here again. Do you get it now? And I say the result should store in answer answer 2 here. Do you get answer 1 here now? And at the same time, I can return to this particular page again and see here another location which I want result to also appear. That means I want to use that function twice. That's one of the advantage of it again now, of user defined function. So this one is called area. I will now call this one area 1 and area 2. Okay, so like I say now, I will now turn this one to what? Area 1, and this is going to be area 1 again. You get now? So it means that I want to call the function I defined twice. That's the function can be used more than one different value. So here now, I'm calling this the same function here, but I'm store the answer into another variable here. So to display that again, I'm still going to have undo. I paste some. I'm still going to have document dot get element by ID, but this is going to be area 1 now, and this is going to be answer 1 now. Okay. Remember that I'm going to sorry. Okay, so on the output area on the HTML, so I add the area 1 again to the way the result is going to appear. I already have the area here. I have another area one again to receive the result of this rectangle which I want to compute again. I want to call the function I defined twice. This is the first place I call the function, but the value and input from HTML, system using that value to compute the area. Second time I'm calling the function here, I'm passing the value directly inside the code, and that is when I'm going to store in the answer one. So I'm now passing the answer one to area one while the answer to one area. So if I preview this particular page here now, I can see now I'm seeing 4 and the what and 3 now. I say calculate again. Can you see? That means what we see here is that what the function I use is used more than once. And that's one of the reasons why I said that well, when we are talking about the word, the function, a function is a code in JavaScript that can be well, reused in any part of our program. And another good thing is that well, most of the code we have been written all this while, those code can be also used as well as a function. You can see this function I'm using here now, which I just defined here. And this function can be used to perform any task. You can create a function like this that perform operation in a loop, that perform operation with if, that perform any form of operation. And that is exactly what the this particular function does when we are talking about function in JavaScript. So you can create as many user-defined functions as possible, depending on the task you want to perform in JavaScript. So that is for that. But before we now quickly round it up again, there is one important some of the other function name we have, but we call them methods. This particular one we call them method. Methods methods are just like and function, because method are the already written code that can perform a specific task. And method can be get from what you call object in JavaScript. Very important. So there are many objects in JavaScript that have a lot of method and function that they are performing. We have some object, do you get it now, that is referred to as as a strange object. We have object that call mass object. We have object that call array object. We have object that call window object. We have object that call document object. And we also have object that call history history okay history object. Do you get it now? Most of these particular object, they have a specific type of function and method they are performing. Now, the one I want us to look at is what we call a mass object now. This mass object, one particular function or method, we call it random. And this random is used to generate any numbers. Imagine people ask you to design a program and that's going to generate a number, any number within 1 and 10, like a lottery numbers. You can use what you call a random method or random function. Now, let's look at how that one can be implemented now. I say random of random method in JavaScript now. Random method in JavaScript. So we can use random to generate any number. Like for example now, is it W3 school? I want to pick from from here now, geek for geek here, generate a random number in JavaScript. So the random belong to the math object, and this particular math object have so many function. Another function of the math object is what we call seal. Another one what we call floor. Another one what we call absolute, ABS. Another one what we call SQRT, square root. All these are just like a function. They perform a different task. So if you want to find the square root of a number, you can call the mass object in JavaScript to do that. But now, So let's look at some of them because there are many examples of this again, and also you should have it in my tutorial point here now. Good. Look at this particular maths.word random here. What this one does is that what? It generates any random word number. Do you get it now? And for example now, if I copy this code again, and I want us to use this code in part of our code, before that, let me make a space for it in our HTML word here now. Okay. So I'm going to use three row. Okay, maybe 2 row now. Okay, I copy this and I come to the end of this row here now. So I paste this here now. So, and the button I have here, I call this one now. I say get, I say okay, I now say okay, generate, I say generate number. Okay, and now call this one get what? Get number. That's the function I have here now. So this area is going to be what? Instead of area, I'm going to be what? I call it win. Okay, okay, I say winner. Okay, and second one is to what? Winner. Okay, second one too is winner. Okay, so we are going to be what? Lucky number. Lucky number here. Okay, that is it. Let me see how the apple look like first. Okay, that's it. So when I click on the generate number, I want them to give me some number here now. Okay, but here now, let me correct it. I say generate number between 1 to 10. You want system to give any number between 1 to 10. That is it. So this get number now, I will now create it inside this function here. So I'm creating it here now as a function. I will say function what? Function get what? Number. Okay. That is it now. This is another function now. So this get number now. I will now use this code to do that. We call it maths.word random here now. So let me copy this code here and put it inside this function again. So now that's it. Delete is just when you say var, math.random, good. But I want to store my answer inside the HTML page. I do want to display it on this HTML word console. So here now I paste this one here. Good. I can remove this. So when I use this math.random here, see what the answer will be. I call this one winner. Okay. It will be what? Random. Okay. So that's it now. So clicking on that random, system is going to give us the different type of random number. But when you say math.random here, math.random here means that what? The system to generate a random number, but that number is going to appear in a form of what? Of a fractional word numbers. So when I refresh this and I click on generate number here, can you see? The number appear what? In the form of fraction number here now. That's a number between 1 to 10, but it's less than 1. Is 0 point this. You can click. This is what you are going to be generating. But for me to make this number to be an integer, do you get it now? I will need to convert them to the what? To integer number by using another number in JavaScript, which we call what? We call it the floor. The floor return the what? The random number to the nearest integer what? Numbers. So if I return back to this particular code, I can now say what? Math dot floor like this. So which means that what I want my random number what system to generate what the random number in an integer what numbers. So once I save this, I can now click on this. Can you see now? Oh, it's still generating 000. And again, I want it to be integer number. Sorry, I must come down here and say well plus 1 now. Plus 1. Let me see that. Plus 1. Okay. Generate random number with okay times 1. Times 1 times 10. Plus 1 it means that what system go to generate a number within, it will not be less than 1. When I say plus 10 here now or times 10, that means it should be within the range of 1 to 10 now. Can you see now? That means system generate any number system go to generate it, they cannot be less than 1. They can't be less than 10. I'm sorry, they can't be more than 10. That's why I say what times 10 here now. If I want number to be within the range of 1 to 50, I'll put what 50 here now. Do you get it now? So now clicking this one now, nobody can get the next number. If you say maybe the next number I'm going to be 30 now, I click here. No, I miss it. The next number I'm going to be what 15. I click here. Oh no. Maybe 32. I click here. Almost. Maybe 14 now. Oh, maybe 48. See, so this is something like what people use for something like a lottery. They say you should pick a number. So you can use this one to generate any number when you are writing your Java, because this is one of the important of the word or the function. And the function here is what math dot what random what function or method. This one generate a number, but that number is going to be in a fraction. For the number to be an integer, you now say floor. Floor convert the fraction number to what? To the nearest integer what number. This times 50 here mean you want number within the range of 1 to what? 50. Do you get it now? And that's why we have for plus 50 here. But for the last one before we leave now, let's say I want us to write a program that can generate what? Maybe 5 different random numbers. This we are going to need a loop. I want to generate a 5 different random number within the range of 1 to 50. Within 1 to 50, I want 4 different random number. Do you get it now? So how do we do that again? Within range of 1 to 50, I want random number like this. Maybe system should give me random number about 5. Do you get it now? So let's see what the random number will be. So here now, let me modify this function again to that one. Another button again here. Maybe I can use this button here now. Okay, I use this button here and I put a random number here now. So I say maybe I say or play. Okay, I say get numbers. I use s in this function now. This is a play now. So return back here. So I now create another function now. I call it numbers. Okay, that's numbers now. You can want more than one number. So what I will do now is, since I want more than one number, I will use what? Loop. By say for okay, k equal 1. Okay, I'll now say k less than equal what 5. Since I want 5 number, I'll say k plus plus. Okay, so next one now is going to be what? I open my braces. Okay, I will now close that braces here now. Can you see again? That is it there now. I close the braces there. That means what? I want this to generate a number for me, 5 different number. You get now? Maybe I want it to be 2. I'll say random 1 here. System going to give me a number for random 1 between 1 to 50, random 2 and random 3. So random 2 and random 3 here now. So all these numbers are not going to be the same. Now I want to display them now. Good. I will now say well, document dot write now. Document dot write. Okay. Document dot write here now as a h2. Let me display them h2 now. Okay. So just see and now say plus random 1 now plus I want to separate those number with this hyphen and now say plus again random 2. Okay, so again plus plus again random 3 now. That is it. Okay, so what this one I'm going to do is that well, it will display random 1, random 2, random 3. Do you get it now? But it's going to be what? 5 times. Let's see how those numbers are going to work to return. When I save this page and now click on what? Play here now. Can you see? These are the 5 different numbers. So this is the first number sent generate, the second number, the third number. Whoever that play these 3 number win. Do you get now? As it generate another set of number. So if I refresh this page again, another set of number is coming. Do you get it now? So if I return back again, I say play again. You see another set of number coming. So this is the how we use what we call a random function which belong to what? To the math object. So by the grace of God, the next class again, we will continue on this particular sum of this function. So and next time going to be when we are going to round up for the JavaScript. So any question now, sir? Hello, any questions? Okay, thank you. So I will send this video and the one for yesterday. You get now. Okay, thank you. Okay, sure. Thank you. Yeah.